You little devil, I like you this way.
Ava Gardner's nights were a whirlwind of parties, often stretching into the early hours of the morning. Gardner's love for alcohol was no secret in Hollywood circles, and she was known to drink heavily both on and off set. During the filming of The Night of the Iguana in 1964, Gardner's drinking habits reached new heights. Director John Huston, no stranger to alcohol himself, was reportedly shocked by her consumption. One crew member recalled, "Ava would start her day with a bottle of vodka for breakfast. By lunchtime, she'd be on her second or third." Gardner's drinking often led to erratic behavior on set. In one infamous incident during the filming of The Barefoot Contessa, she reportedly showed up to the set completely intoxicated and proceeded to strip naked, jumping into a fountain while shouting obscenities at the crew. Despite her alcoholism, Gardner managed to maintain her career for many years. However, the toll on her health and appearance became increasingly apparent. In her later years, she admitted, "I wish to live to 150 years old, but the day I die, I wish it to be with a cigarette in one hand and a glass of whiskey in the other." Bette Davis, the formidable actress known for her intense performances and no-nonsense attitude, was also a heavy drinker. She often turned to alcohol to cope with the pressures of Hollywood and her tumultuous personal life. Davis was known for her love of whiskey, particularly Jack Daniels. On set, she would often have her assistant bring her drinks disguised in coffee cups. One co-star remarked, "Betty's coffee always smelt suspiciously like bourbon." During the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane in 1962, Davis's drinking reached new heights. Her rivalry with co-star Joan Crawford, combined with the intense nature of her role, led to increased alcohol consumption. The film's director, Robert Aldrich, later said, "Some days, getting a coherent take out of Betty was like pulling teeth. The minute cut was called, she'd be reaching for her coffee." Davis famously quipped, "There comes a time in every woman's life when the only thing that helps is a glass of champagne." For Davis, however, one glass was rarely enough. Barbara Payton's Hollywood career was as brief as it was scandalous, largely due to her rampant drinking. Once a promising starlet, Payton's drinking habits quickly overshadowed her talent and led to a rapid fall from grace. At the height of her short-lived fame, Payton was known to frequent Hollywood's wildest parties. One industry insider recalled, "Barbara would show up to premieres already 3 sheets to the wind. She'd be slurring her words on the red carpet, much to the horror of studio executives." Payton's alcoholism led to increasingly erratic behavior. In 1951, she made headlines when she was found wandering the streets of Hollywood at 3 a.m., drunk and disheveled, claiming she had been kidnapped. The incident was later revealed to be a publicity stunt gone wrong, fueled by alcohol. Her drinking not only affected her career, but also her personal life. Payton's marriages and affairs were marked by alcohol-fueled violence and public spectacles. By the mid-1950s, her career was over, and she was reduced to prostitution to fund her alcohol and drug habits. Susan Hayward, the fiery redhead known for her intense dramatic performances, battled alcoholism throughout much of her career. Her drinking often led to unstable behavior both on and off the set.
Well, okay. Okay, I'll take it off. But I won't wear your burlap job. I'll sleep raw. Well?
Hayward's struggle with alcohol began early in her career as a way to cope with the pressures of Hollywood. By the 1950s, at the height of her fame, her drinking had become problematic. During the filming of I Want to Live in 1958, for which she won an Oscar, Hayward's alcoholism was in full swing. One crew member from the film recalled, "Susan would show up on set with bloodshot eyes and shaking hands. We all knew she'd been drinking, but no one dared say anything. She was the star after all." Hayward's heavy drinking often led to explosive outbursts on set. During the production of Where Love Has Gone in 1964, she reportedly got into a heated argument with co-star Bette Davis while intoxicated. The altercation became so intense that filming had to be suspended for the day. Hayward's drinking took a heavy toll on her personal life. Her marriage to actor Jess Barker was marred by alcohol-fueled arguments and public scandals. In 1954, after a particularly vicious drinking binge, Hayward attempted suicide by overdosing on sleeping pills. Despite her struggles, Hayward managed to maintain her career for many years. However, the effects of her drinking became increasingly apparent in her later films. One director, who wished to remain anonymous, stated, "Working with Susan was like Russian roulette. You never knew if you were getting the brilliant actress or the belligerent drunk." Hayward's battle with alcoholism continued until the end of her life. Even as she fought brain cancer in her final years, she reportedly couldn't give up drinking. Her tragic story serves as a stark reminder of the devastating effects of alcoholism, even among Hollywood's most talented stars. Veronica Lake, the blonde bombshell of the 1940s, saw her career in life derailed by alcoholism. Her iconic peekaboo hairstyle may have hidden one eye, but it couldn't conceal her growing addiction. Lake's drinking problems began early in her career. By the time she starred in This Gun for Hire in 1942, her alcohol consumption was already causing issues on set. One crew member remembered, "Veronica would disappear for hours. We'd find her passed out in her trailer, an empty vodka bottle by her side." As her alcoholism worsened, Lake became increasingly difficult to work with. During the filming of The Blue Delilah in 1946, her co-star Alan Ladd reportedly refused to work with her again due to her constant intoxication and unprofessional behavior. Lake's career quickly declined, and by the 1950s, she was reduced to working as a bartender in New York. In a cruel twist of irony, she found herself serving the very substance that had destroyed her career. Joan Crawford, known for her powerful performances and infamous temper, was also a heavy drinker. While she managed to keep her alcoholism relatively hidden from the public, those who worked with her knew the extent of her drinking. Crawford's drink of choice was vodka, which she often consumed throughout the day under the guise of staying hydrated. One of her assistants revealed, "Miss Crawford would have me fill her water bottles with vodka. She'd sip from them constantly, even during takes." During the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Crawford's drinking reached new heights. Her rivalry with co-star Bette Davis, combined with the stress of the role, led to increased alcohol consumption. One memorable incident occurred when Crawford, in a drunken state, deliberately sabotaged a scene by wearing weights under her costume, making it impossible for Davis to drag her across the floor as the script required. Crawford's adopted daughter, Christina, later wrote in her memoir, Mommy Dearest, about her mother's alcoholism. She described nights when Crawford would drunkenly rage through the house, terrorizing her children. Myrna Loy, known as the perfect wife in her films, had a less than perfect relationship with alcohol off-screen. While she managed to keep her drinking under control during the height of her career, it became a significant problem in her later years. Loy's battle with alcoholism was largely hidden from the public until late in her life. She was known to drink heavily between films, using alcohol as a coping mechanism for the pressures of Hollywood and her tumultuous personal life. One incident that hinted at her drinking problem occurred during the filming of The Best Years of Our Lives in 1946. A crew member recalled, "Myrna showed up to set one day, clearly hungover. She kept missing her marks and flubbing her lines. The director, William Wyler, was furious and threatened to replace her if it happened again." In her autobiography, Loy admitted to her struggles with alcohol, writing, "I'd come home from the studio and have a drink to unwind. One became 2, then 3. Before I knew it, I couldn't get through the day without a drink." Jane Mansfield, often compared to Marilyn Monroe, was known for her wild partying and heavy drinking. Her love for alcohol often led to scandalous behavior that made headlines. Mansfield's drinking was no secret in Hollywood. She was often seen at parties, drink in hand, becoming increasingly uninhibited as the night wore on. One Hollywood reporter noted, "Jane loved to make an entrance. She'd arrive at premieres already tipsy, her dress barely containing her famous curves. Her alcohol-fueled antics often overshadowed her acting career. In one infamous incident at a party in 1957, an inebriated Mansfield accidentally fell into a swimming pool. As she emerged from the water, her dress became transparent, causing outrage among the partygoers and the press. Mansfield's drinking also affected her work. During the filming of The Girl Can't Help It, director Frank Tashlin struggled to get usable takes due to her frequent intoxication. He later said, "Working with Jane was like trying to direct a beautiful, blonde tornado. You never knew what state she'd be in from one moment to the next." Judy Garland's battle with addiction, including alcoholism, was one of Hollywood's worst-kept secrets. Her struggles began early in her career and continued throughout her life, ultimately contributing to her untimely death. Garland's drinking started when she was just a teenager working for MGM. The studio would give her amphetamines to keep her energized and barbiturates to help her sleep, a cycle that led her to seek solace in alcohol. By the time she starred in A Star is Born in 1954, her alcoholism was in full swing. During the filming of The Pirate in 1948, Garland's drinking caused significant production delays. Director Vincent Minnelli, who was also her husband at the time, struggled to manage her erratic behavior. Garland's performances became increasingly unreliable as her alcoholism worsened. She was fired from the production of Annie Get Your Gun in 1949 due to her frequent absences and inability to perform when she did show up. Tallulah Bankhead's alcohol consumption was so extreme that it became an integral part of her public persona. Bankhead was known to start her day with a bottle of bourbon for breakfast. She once famously declared, "My father warned me about men and booze, but he never mentioned a word about women and cocaine." This statement perfectly encapsulated her wild lifestyle, where alcohol played a central role. Bankhead's alcohol-fueled antics weren't limited to the theater. At a Hollywood party in the 1940s, she reportedly got so drunk that she climbed onto a grand piano, stripped naked, and proceeded to perform a rendition of St. Louis Blues, while guests looked on in shock. When asked about the incident later, she simply said, "I did? How marvelous!" Despite her heavy drinking, Bankhead somehow managed to maintain her razor-sharp wit. When a doctor advised her to stop drinking, she reportedly replied, "Don't tell me what to do. You're not my mother, are you?" Even as her health declined due to years of alcohol abuse, she refused to give up her beloved bourbon. In her final years, she was known to keep a flask hidden in her hospital room, taking secret sips between visits from her doctors. Bankhead's last words before her death in 1968 were reportedly, "Codeine, bourbon." Even in her final moments, alcohol remained a constant companion. Her life and death serve as a stark reminder of the devastating effects of alcoholism, even among Hollywood's brightest stars.